make it to this meeting, even though we had some hiccups along the way. All right, so the purpose of our meeting today is to talk about our assignment, to review about the article, and also the delegation of tasks, and also share our input. So this meeting is basically going to be based on the question that Doctor had posted on Flipgrid, if I'm not mistaken, yeah? So we will go through the questions one by one, and it's like a forum, so you guys can discuss how you feel, not necessarily what is from the article itself, but your own input, as I said previously. So, without further ado, let us look into the questions that we are going to cover. So I'm just going to read briefly about the questions, yeah? So the first one is, we'll go one by one first. Okay, the first question is, what did you do after reading the assignment? So I hope that everybody had read about the assignment and read about the article, at least briefly, or scanned through. Yeah.
That was the first thing that we've at least that I'm sure that everyone here did, which is as soon as we read about the assignments, the first thing that we have to do is just immediately running towards PDF files that we have about the assignments, what articles we need to go through, and we try to collect some ideas about these new assignments topics. The whole call subject is new to me, at least, and I had to do some investigation also on YouTube, trying to find some videos describing call and what does it mean. So that was my first step.
By the way, guys, introduce yourself. Is it okay to introduce yourself first?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I'm Abigail. You can call me Abby. The next one.
I'm Sammy. I'm international student.
Okay. Anissa, did you try to say something?
I'm Anissa. Hi.
All right, bro.
Hello, I'm Madhavan. You can call me Owen.
Okay, all right. So Anissa, what about you? What did you do first of all when you get the assignment? Sometimes you feel nervous, right?
First of all, because of the article is quite lengthy, and it was quite packed with information. So basically, we need, because as teachers, right, we have been training our kids to go one by one, and at least skimming or scanning, you need to find for that main ideas and supporting details. So basically, I did draft briefly what are the main points, and then the supporting details for each point, and then only I proceed with that mind map.
Good. Cool. Owen, bro.
Hi, this is all right. Me myself, when I looked into the PDF, I noticed the first thing that I saw was actually I was going through how many pages were there, because the more pages, the more you have to read. So when I was going through, I noticed there was around 25 to 26 pages, if I'm not mistaken.
26, yes.
I noticed it was like quite a lot. So when you see a lot of pages, you'll be like, oh, am I going to read the whole part of it? So what I did, I was actually reading for the first few or 3 or 4 pages for the first run, and I was sort of highlighting it using one of the highlighters from the PDF itself. Then I sort of let's wait for the group, and so we are here.
All right. So for me personally, what I did was I scanned through the whole PDF file, and then I made some short notes using a Word document. I just copy paste, and then get a rough idea. Also, what I did was I went on to read articles about call, because like Sammy said, it is something new and something out of the blue, and especially very relevant in this time of crisis, the pandemic. Yeah. All right, great. The next question is something interesting. That means, what were the motivations to complete this assignment? That means your personal motivation. Anissa, would you want to start first, my dear?
Yeah, because I'm a primary school teacher. So when it comes to mind mapping, I'm always interested in writing earlier. So when it comes to mind mapping, we find it very familiar with us. As previously when we was kids, we were sort of given this kind of basically passage or paragraph so that we come up with mind mapping. So kids nowadays, they are not actually into reading. They don't like doing all this mind mapping stuff unless
True.
we put it virtually, we put it online, we put it interactively. So when it comes to this kind of new apps, so I found it as a motivation for me to start learning about new apps so that I can use it for the purpose of teaching and learning for my kids. 21st century era, another generation, right?
Yeah. What about Sammy, my dear? What about you?
Oh.
What's your motivation?
I have lots of motivational reasons for me to complete the assignment. The first thing is the incentives that we're going to get, which is the marks. You know, this is the first thing. The second thing is it is very interesting, as I said, because this is totally new for me. So Google, I have never heard about it before. And when I tried it, I was trying to play around and see what is Google actually doing and how the mind mapping works. And because I am a person who is all over the place, I mean, I am not that kind of organized person who has mind mapping, plans for today, plans for tomorrow, but actually I work spontaneously. I just do this, do this, do this, do this, and I just finish. So for me, this is very, very interesting, and it was very motivating for me to go through the assignments and try to do it.
Thank you. What about Brother Owen? What were your motivations?
Most of the points have been filled already, but okay, fine. For the first thing, when I heard about Google, actually, I thought he was mentioning Google. I was like, isn't Google known to everyone? And then
Did you become a C?
something different, right? So I was, okay, it sounds a bit interesting. And then I thought it was like a web-based thingy, but then when I got to know it's sort of, we have to do it online and it's in a group. So it's a bit much of like, a challenge, some sort of like a game to me. So it was quite interesting to venture upon. So fine, I think it's a good thing that we are about to kickstart with that.
That's good. Thank you for sharing, guys. For me personally, my motivation, first of all, I was not motivated at all. I was dreading because my mindset was in a different place. It was I was thinking about my final year research project. I was stressed out about it, so that I feel that the other assignment is like, no, just procrastinate. But then, like Owen said, Google sounds interesting. Why not just give it a shot? So when my other members initiated the assignment, that's when my motivation came in. And then at first it was quite challenging because it's something new. I was like, wow, these branches are moving here and there. How do I control the branches? But when I get into the groove of doing it, and I really enjoy it, especially those colors. Like people will say, colors are really good for your visual or mental representation. So it's something that really motivates me. So another motivation is my first impression of Dr. Rahim. And I got to know he's a very cool, laid-back guy, and that gives me a peace of mind and gives me a motivation to say, okay, I can do it. I'm going to give my best, because the lecturer is somehow is a source of motivator for me. So I said, why not just give it our all? So that's my part. All right. Anything else you guys want to add before I move on to the next one?
No, next question.
All right. The next question is, what was the group's goal for this assignment? How the group goal was decided? Okay, before that, I would like to add something so that Dr. know. The moment we registered for this course, we already had a WhatsApp group specifically for this group, 4 of us for the group assignment. So whatever we do, Doctor, we will discuss in that WhatsApp group, and we will always like inform each other what we need to do or remind about the deadline and so forth. Okay. All right. So Brother Owen, would you like to start? What was the goal of this group assignment, and how do we achieve it?
Okay, when it comes to the goal, the main goal is actually to complete the Google mind map. So when you talk about the group thingy, so first of all, we must know that is everyone free to do at the same time, or they have their different teams to do it. So the importance is actually to get into a consent that all of us are free to do so within the group. and we are able to be as one, not as an individual, because the goal is actually to get all of us in a good pointer for the end of the season. End of the season. Okay, came to football already. End of the
Semester.
end of the semester. So main thing is togetherness must be there. So that's the goal for me. The togetherness within the group to achieve that grade. So that should be my
So one of the things that I would like to highlight is we would like to thank Brother Madan because he delegated the task according to the topics for us, so it makes our job a little bit easier. So thank you, brother. Okay, Anissa, what about you? Do you think
I think
the goal? Mhm.
based on the collaboration that we have been putting for this particular assignment, I think the main goal will be, of course, to create the most effective mind map using the latest interactive tool.
Technology.
Yeah.
Yes, brief and short. Next. But
Sammy?
Yes, I mean, I'm aligned with whatever you have said, guys. The main goal for us is to complete the assignment in hand. I would say the first thing that we have decided to do is skimming through the materials that we have, then divide the whole article because it was like 26 pages too much. So we decided to divide it into bits. So every one of us would have his own section to go through in details, and then we come back to Google mind mapping and start, you know, playing around and doing the branches and stuff like this. And I was surprised by the artistic, you know, peace of mind that you have there. You know, yeah, especially Anissa, Owen, and Abby. Yeah.
All right. Okay, for me, I think that yes, the goal of this assignment is to complete it. That's a goal. But above all, the goal of this assignment, not only basically this assignment, I think the whole course is for us as educators. I believe all of us are teachers here. So to get something from this course or something from the assignments that we have done to improve ourselves, because I believe that call is an evolution. It's something that moving around. It's something that changing. So that is the goal of this assignment or group assignment, and I think we achieved it well. Everybody did it perfectly, beautifully, and I think we are a systematic group because we achieve it within this week itself. So something that we should be proud of ourselves. Regardless of our busy, schedule and doing research, all of us are doing research. So something that is needed to be applauded. All right. Okay, moving on to the next question, which is very interesting and something very important. All right.
Yeah.
Any issue arise? What were the plans or strategies to accomplish the group goals? How the plans were discussed in group? Okay. So first, we're going to talk about how we delegate the tasks, how we carry out, and what kind of issue we face. Okay. Sammy, would you like to start first?
Yes. So any issues arise? So let me talk about Google first, because as I said, it was the first time for me to use it. So the way I learned my ways around it is by trial and error. So that was how I started to have a grasp on Google mind mapping. Also, the other issue that we had before I actually started recording this meeting is we didn't find the recording button, and this is also was one of the things that we had. And because we started looking and searching, thanks to Anissa, she managed to find the solution for us. So thank you. And as for the plans, the strategies that we use as a group, as I mentioned before, and as Abby mentioned before, we had the group in WhatsApp ready for us even before the class has started. We already came to the to call with one goal, all of us together. We want to succeed. We want to get the highest marks that we want, and we hope that we work collaboratively together to pass this challenge. Yeah. So I pass it back to Abby. Abby, we can't hear you.
Okay, so Maybe she's having network connection problem.
Yes.
So why not I just continue?
Yes, yes, sister, please.
So before I describe all the issues that arises during the assignment process, so I think it's good for us to point out what are the advantages of having of using this Kogel. For example, I find it easier to use because we can easily pick things and put things and add things. It's very easy. And then despite having the impressive quality of mind mapping, because I found it very interesting when we just click and the branches appear just like that, and we just need to drag and drop. Okay, one more important stuff. Despite being all these, having all these impressive elements, I think it's crucial to point out that one of the issue that arises during the mind mapping construction session, I think is first because there are limited colors available. This is my personal opinion. I think there are limited colors available, especially when we want to keep on branching out, like Sammy said previously. Keep on branching out, right? We have a lot of points, we have supporting details. And then one more thing is when it comes to downloading and putting it in presentation. Because of course, as when we do any sort of mind map, we need to put it in presentation slides so that it's easier and easier to navigate and easier to present to our kids. So I find it a challenge to download everything, put it on a slide. And I think what I learned from this Kogel is, although there is a box there as directory stating this, how to do this, but I tend to not to read that and straight away go to that discovery part because we learn by trial and error. This brings up to one implication of teaching and learning. I find it that I implied that kids nowadays also learn that way. They don't like to read. They just go straight away and explore. That's why they like all these virtual games, just explore.
Don't you think that we are like a children also? Because we don't read the instruction, we just do it.
Yes.
When you figure it out. All right, what about Brother Owen? Thank you, Anissa and Sammy. Sorry, just now I had a connection problem, all right?
Okay.
Brother Owen, what about you? What kind of challenges did you experience and how do you overcome it?
Okay, before entering to the Google, I mean, someone needed to initiate the Google link, right? So thank you, Anissa, for giving the link to all of us. So after she sort of started the link, we sort of had motivations to like, oh, it's already started. So it's a group work, we must pursue it.
Yeah.
So we were like, at least we wanted to try. So the issues which rise up was actually one of the issues I noticed when Anissa was doing and I was doing at the same time. We were able to do, but it was a bit slightly of a nuisance when she's clicking somewhere and I'm clicking somewhere. I'm afraid that when I'm done, if I turn on the click on the Google icon, it sort of auto saves, right? But when someone else accidentally touches it, it sort of moves back. And as a person who just saved it, we can't undo. Only the person who just shifted it, they have to undo. So it is sort of a bit of a bugger there. I mean, so what I felt that as we are busy with our own schedule, that was actually sort of an advantage. So each of us had our different timings, and so we don't actually need to be online for all of it. So we had our part, we do our parts, and we save it. And when the other person does it, they can, if they do it in a way where they accidentally touch another person's branch or what, so they can just undo it, and that should be the what do you call it, the accomplishment of the assignment. So that's my point of view.
Thank you. For me, personally, whatever you guys have mentioned is what I experienced. But one thing that I would like to stress was, same with Anissa. The first time I entered to Google, I was like, dang it, I'm not going to see what is in the box or the instruction. I'm just going to like try to play with it. So but thankfully, when I play with it, I got the sense of how to do it. Okay, that was a hurdle for me at first. Secondly was, I get frustrated because like Owen said, the branches keep on moving and somebody like accidentally touch it or something, they have to undo it or you have to do the editing part. So that was really a challenging. And but throughout the challenges, but I learned something that, there are certain features that is really interesting. Like you can put an icon, all right, and you can put certain shapes or shades. but there's not much that you can do because it's an free app. If you need more features, you have to like buy it, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Going to the second part, which is any issues we have faced, like today, what we have faced. All right, coming up to this meeting. Anissa, would you like to start, my dear? Besides Google.
Okay, first of all, as pointed out by Brother Sammy just now, he stated like we couldn't find, basically when Abby started the meeting, she couldn't find the record button. Yeah. So when I sort of want to try to initiate it, I forgot my email address. I mean, my organization email address. That's why I was searching high and low. Finally, at least I got it. Okay, so that was the challenge today.
Yes.
Okay, what about Sammy? Challenges today?
I would say, for instance, one of the challenges that we had even before starting this meeting was is coming on terms on what time are we going actually to meet, because we have to find the right and suitable time for every single one of us, because some of us is actually doing a job, teaching, some of us having their family functions, and some of us having these outside appointments and stuff like this, and this was the first issue. The second issue is, as you guys mentioned, the recording button, because when Abby started the meeting, we couldn't actually manage to record, and we had to search and keep looking and asking until Anissa managed to find the answer for us, and she got her email as an admin in Enterprise, and she managed to record this. So thank you very much. Yeah, so these are the members.
Seems like everything is mentioned.
Yeah, mentioned by Sammy and Anissa. All right, as what Sammy mentioned, family function. Yeah, I sort of had a family function, but lucky that family was not very close to mine. So I felt that my assignments are more important, so it should be fine. So the second part is as what was mentioned by Sammy and Anissa as well, about the what do you call it, the admin, right? When we entered into this link, we sort of thought we can just have all the privileges to record, but yeah, we were stuck there like about 10 to 15 minutes waiting what to do, clicking here, clicking there, listening to YouTube tutorials, right?
Yeah.
So thanks, Anissa, for being our savior today.
Okay. All right. For me personally, I think that whatever you guys mentioned is already there. Another one thing is the internet connection. Sometimes we like, hello, I cannot hear you. Can you repeat? So that is one of the problem, because without internet, it wouldn't be a meeting, yeah. So I am thankful for my groupmate, because all of you guys are very understanding, patient. All right, and you have a really high degree of patience. All right, so I applaud you guys on that part. Yeah. All right. The next question is, how did you monitor each other's progress towards completing the assignment? So, if you don't mind, I would go first. Okay. First and foremost, I wouldn't say that I'm a control freak, but I like to make sure that my teammate, everybody, are able to do their complete. If you have any problem, please ask. I can help, because I want everybody to success together. Because for me, education should be equal. It shouldn't be biased. And even though, including the grading and the quality of the work. So one of the ways that how we check each other progress is through our WhatsApp group, whereby we will ask question, how are you doing? Is there a deadline? Do you need any help? So that is one of the way that we monitor our group members' progress. And so far, I think we are fine. I'm going to use the word we are fine. All right. Okay. What about Owen, brother Owen? How do you think we monitor? Do we think we successfully monitored, or we just like touch on the surface?
Actually, we did monitor in a way. If you notice the links, because it's a share link, everyone has access to open it. And if you notice, whenever we're done, we sort of save it. To be safe, what I tend to do, I am a bit, I'm a type of pessimist type of person. I'm scared whatever will happen. So there were 4 buttons in that link itself. You can save it to PDF, you can save it to GIF, and you can not GIF. Is it another picture format? Another format was the original format for the Google. So I had to save all those 4s, And then when I save it, I tend to, okay, now mind, as what I've done, I'm going to just post it in the group. So for the others to even monitor my job. So I noticed even Anissa and the others also managed to do the same when we sort of post our what do you call it, our outcome of our Google assignment.
Yeah, and thanks to you guys, because you guys always like, this is the link to the Google Drive, this is the link to the Google Classroom, this is the link for the QR scan code. I was like, wow. I'm so thankful for you guys, honestly, right? All right, what about Anissa, my dear? How do you think we monitor each other's progress or the group progress as a whole?
Before I continue, a bit of housekeeping. Did you guys can actually see the recording?
Yes,
The-
yeah, the record
yeah.
button. Yeah, no worries.
You guys just put an effort to speak and state all the points just now. Okay, so in terms of how to monitor, of course, this is normal questions, ordinary questions, because we are doing our assignment. So we need to distribute the task. We need to monitor so that we get it done within that time, that limited time given. And then I think I don't have to answer that question like with ordinary answers, because you know what? Because I'm very grateful for having you guys as my group members, because everybody's doing their part. We are working collaboratively, and one more important thing is when we keep on updating, we keep on motivating others, we keep on progressing, and that's it. We manage to monitor and we manage to get it done.
Awesome. What about Sammy, brother?
You have said it all, guys. You have said it all.
How we progress, how we monitor each other.
I mean, seriously. And of course, everything is going through WhatsApp group most of the time. But seriously, as you said, you are very helpful, and I am so very thankful. And I do have this kind of feeling when you be sitting at the edge of the seat and worried about the tasks and the assignments and stuff. But then when I find myself with you guys, I feel relaxed, because I know at the end of the day, we're all going to carry each other, out of this, and we're going to succeed. So thank you very much, guys. We monitor each other. I mean, we don't even need to use this word, because we went through a lot. We are the same group in RS2 together. We've took the previous semesters together, so we know each other. We are actually more than colleagues. We are friends. So for me,
So Sammy, at the end of this semester, we will have a biryani treat, yeah?
absolutely, absolutely. This is one of my treasures now. Yes.
Okay, moving on to the other question was, what were the challenges or issues you face as a group when working collaboratively? What did you do about them? Okay, to be short and sweet, or to be frank, I think we don't have any issues. But if there were such issues, you guys can point it out, all right? So we go with Anissa first. Do we face any issues or challenges working collaboratively, and how do we overcome it?
Okay. We talk. We might bring about ordinary challenges. For example, working in a group collaboratively, we might find someone will be as sleeping partners. We don't want sleeping partners, but I'm very grateful. That's why I say I don't see any flaws in the groupings.
Oh, thanks. Sammy, what about you? Any flaws or any issues working together with the three of us?
as I was saying before, we are actually more than colleagues. We are friends, and we know each other capabilities, and we know how yeah, exactly, Owen, and we know how to do this. So the challenges that could face any ordinary group, for instance, could be communication, could be, as Anissa said, some of the group members could be like a free passenger, because the others, they will carry the workload, and some others, they would just don't do it and they would pass. But this is not the case here, because we know each other and we know our capabilities, and we complement each other, and I think, and I'm sure that we're going to do just fine. Yeah.
What about Owen, brother? Would you like to add anything?
As what Sammy has mentioned about doing our own parts and become more collaborative within in our group, we know we have encountered certain group members. I mean, during our degree, maybe life, you will notice that there might be some workaholics and there might be one passenger who just sort of will not be existent there. So in this situation, we didn't have that kind of issue. We are all matured individuals. We are taking our masters, so we know what is much more important in life. We know our priorities, so we are doing our best to reach that goal. So I don't think so we have had any issues except for our own responsibilities during certain times. That's it. Should be fine.
True. Even though we, like for example, we see in WhatsApp group, right? When we ask a question or something, the response are immediate, or even just a few minutes after. It's not like 2 or 3 days only, then a person will reply you. So this shows that we can work together, and not only that, we learn about each other and we learn about the styles of work of each other, which makes us a better educator, in my opinion. All right. Okay. Continuing to the next question. Are you satisfied with the outcome of the assignment as a group? Why or why not? Okay. Brother Owen, you want to start? Were you satisfied? Because I think we have done the mind map, right? All right. So are you satisfied with the outcome?
Actually, I'm more than satisfied, because when I assume that, okay, maybe because we have our own different ways of trying to mind map things, right? Myself, I'm not particularly sure whether my part, some of the parts were like perfect, because I noticed there were some points that it was in sentence, and usually mind maps will be very short phrases. But I sort of tried to minimize the words and stuff, but I noticed there are certain parts which are a bit lengthy. But when it comes to the other group members, I mean, you guys all, I noticed you guys managed to at least differentiate using the other colors. I didn't assume that we will be like very plain. So all of it looked very colorful with whatever colors remaining there, we managed to utilize all of them. So I find it, I'm quite satisfied.
All right, awesome. I'm pretty satisfied with the outcomes of our assignment. First of all, because it's very colorful, and we can see the different styles of work, the different artistic value, creativity in that mind map itself. All right. What about Anissa? Are you satisfied with the outcome of the assignment? Why or why not?
As mentioned by Owen, he's quite satisfied. Abby said she's pretty satisfied, and I would say I'm absolutely satisfied.
Yeah,
why? Because first of all, when I can remember previously when Owen stated to me, like he said he's based on his experience, he's been using his comb just to measure. Can you see how perfect he want everything to be? And then despite being so pessimist, as you mentioned earlier, right? So when he's sort of gave me that kind of impression, so it sort of like motivates me to put it in a perfect way so that we can get it done. And the mind map would look exactly like having all the information. It is just nice to read and nice to comprehend and nice to digest.
All right, awesome. What about Brother Sammy? What is your feedback?
My feedback is I am fully satisfied. Because seriously, I mean, when I opened the Google mind map and I saw the work that you have been doing, guys, I was shocked. I said, oh my God, they are doing a very on-spot job, And what I did, in my personal opinion, was just adding small and shy branches towards the bushes that you had, because you were like really, really into it, and I was so happy, I was so happy. Seriously, guys, you've done a tremendous job, and I'm so thankful to be with you.
I think our mind map is like a tree of life.
Exactly. It was like in three different directions. You have Anissa there, and then you have Owen there, and then you have Abby there, and then Sammy is playing here a little bit, and here a little bit, and here a little bit. That's it.
You know what? I think by listening to the way we compliment ourselves, I think Doctor will be so shocked. He will not.
But I mean, this is the truth.
This is something positive. We should be proud of ourselves. We shouldn't be like, oh, it's okay. No, we should be proud of what we have produced, because why? It's not only a stepping stone for this assignment only, for other assignment, other courses, other subject in the future. If you do not have because confidence doesn't come from people, it comes from within. When you are confident, you produce something that you are proud of. So never ever think that you are below there or what. Be proud of yourself. It's not to say you are proud and pride. It's not pride.
Yeah.
So be happy what you put there out on the plate. All right. I
Yes.
encourage that. Never ever think that you are below or am I good? Did I did well? No. Okay? Because we are master's degree student, we are not diploma or degree students. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I move on to the next question, guys? All right. The next question is what could you do to improve the outcome of the assignment? Okay. For me personally, there's nothing. I think from the group member that we have chosen, from the work ethics, from the systemic working ethics and the outcome and the discussion, the smooth discussion, even there's no misunderstanding, even though there's like maybe some things that we don't disagree with or agree with, we talk it in a respectful manner. All these things really seems to be the greatest group for me personally. So I think there's nothing that I would have changed because everything for me seems to be perfect, and not only perfect for me, it's valuable because I learned something. I learned about me and about people in the process. All right. Okay. What about Sammy?
Okay. So what could you do to improve the outcome? Well, of course, there is the obvious result, and there is the transparent result as well. So when it comes to achieving the tasks in hand, we have already done what is required from us to do. And then if you look at the other outcomes, for instance, the way of communication, because it's not only about the subject, but it is about how we communicate as individuals and as professionals on the level of teachers and in the environment of learning and teaching. And I would say we have already done that and we passed to the next stage. Yes, that's my personal opinion. I would say we have already succeeded in achieving the required outcome in all levels.
Okay. All right.
Abby, we
What
can't hear
about
you.
Brother Owen? Sorry. I'm trying to minimize the sound surrounding, okay? What about Brother Owen? Would you change something about the outcome of the assignment?
Okay, for my opinion, we have done our level best to get what which is necessary to be done. So actually, what was I? All right, improvement count. All right. So what I noticed as we are doing online, I think there are some things that we can improve on, especially because during this era, I mean not this era, during this time, we are having a bit difficulty in meeting each other. Supposedly, we should have been meeting in face to face, which is actually much more better compared to be online because we have our different timings, right? So I think if it was not because of the pandemic, we would have been actually meeting and we be giving a lots of opinions and thoughts in how to improve in much better. But unfortunately, but still we did very well. That's
I
why.
agree with Brother Owen because I prefer physical face-to-face meeting in a coffee bean or Starbucks rather than online because we need human communication. Yes, online is all good during this pandemic, but I think that when it comes to socializing, it's something that is a downfall, a little bit of a downfall, yeah? What about Miss Anissa?
Okay.
Change?
Although we are moving towards perfection, but I think I want to point out two things. The first one is basically maybe for the future, if we have this kind of task again, maybe we can think of discussing and analyzing and come up with diagram. Means our opinion or the gist of the overall article and put it inside the mind map. It will create an impression. And then number two, I think about the how to make it visible, the points visible. So I think maybe for the future, we can highlight or bold or use different types of font to indicate which is more important, which is the crucial point, which are the main points, which are the supporting details. That's it.
All right. Thank you, guys. Anything else you want to add before I move on? All right, we're almost there, right? Okay. The next question is, what have you learned from working collaboratively in fully online context? That means you have to focus on the effect of your experience, the effect to your learning, and the effect to your future learning. So again, I would mention the question again. What have you learned from working collaboratively in fully online context? Anissa, would you mind to start first?
Okay. Thank you. Okay, first of all, we need to understand the concept of collaborative learning. I'm not going to describe about it. So what are the effect of it? Personally, I think based on the effect in terms of my experience. So I think it's such a great time working together collaboratively, having 3 group members who are actually giving their very best at every time. And then effect on my learning, of course, because previously I told some of my friends that I'm having this inferiority complex to start this call subject. Yeah, because I'm very afraid to start this call subject. Or despite having motivation to apply this innovative technological tool in my classroom. So I'm a bit afraid, especially when it comes to technology, because I'm not confident enough. But it proves me wrong because I can do that. Okay, one more thing is about how does it affect my future learning. Of course, as teachers, right, although I'm teaching in a rural area where there is limited connection, we will find it challenging for us to get connected all the time, most of the time, not all the time, most of the time. So it's also a challenge for the kids. But I think having this program, despite all these challenges, it's some sort of like motivate us teachers. Why not we give it a try? Although we have these kind of challenges, we are moving towards a technological era where everything is just at the fingertips. So why not we give it a try and prepare our kids for the future? They need to face the future, and the future will not be the same as what we are living nowadays, right? So they need to be competitive. So
I agree with Anissa. Yep, I agree with Anissa because this is the 21st century of learning, and we should prepare the children, regardless of rural or urban area. We should prepare them for future readiness, because I believe as an educator, technology or online learning is the way in the future. So this pandemic is actually like a testing for us. So we have to be ready in order to make our student future ready. Yeah. All right, Brother Owen, what about you? What did you learn working collaboratively based on your own experience? How it affects you?
Right. When talking about this online thingies, right? The I have a phrase for it. It's like where there's a will, there's a way. You sort of do with no matter education or learning takes place anywhere, anytime. Okay, and anywhere, anytime, any place. All right, fine. So it does happen, no matter how. As long we put our souls and heart into it, we will be able to succeed in no matter what. So even though the pandemic is causing us to restrict our movements because of these MCOs and stuff, we are still able to succeed in a different way. So that is that, and the effects to learning and effect of future learning. All right, as I mentioned, as Abby mentioned as well, online learning is actually quite helpful, and I think if we are able to do so as an educator, we can teach our students to do the same as well, and they will be able to adapt as they are a bit of a newer generation compared to us. So that was my opinion.
Awesome. Okay, what about Brother Samuel?
Brother Sammy. Okay, so what have you learned from working collaboratively in fully online context is that because of COVID-19, I would say that this is going to become one of the main teaching streams in the future, because we need to keep our social distancing and to save the community. So the best way to do this is to go through online platforms teaching methods. And this is, I would say, the kickoff start for that to happen. And we are, I would say, even though that we are not the first ones to do this before, but actually it's going to grow more and more in the future, because this is how it is it going to be from now on. And the experience that we are going to learn from these classes that we are undertaking right now is the experiences that we are going to carry with us and pass it along towards our students, and the experiences that we are going through now, and we are going to pass it to the next generation, and so on and so on and so on, until the process keeps going. So yeah, this is my opinion.
Good points, you guys. Okay, for me personally, I think that it's something beneficial for us as language educators, as I said previously, because we are moving to a technological savvy education system, especially when we talk about future. All right. So it is something that is beneficial for us because as an educator, we are prepared ourselves so that we can impart well-prepared knowledge to the future generation. Secondly, I would like to add in is that even though we work collaboratively using online tools, I still believe that it's a plus point because why we are from different backgrounds. Remember, some are Indians, we have our brother from Libya, and then the different culture. We are able to at least assimilate or discuss or interchange knowledges on culture, language, ethics. And remember, we were talking about the potluck. So food is a culture also. So that is something that we can learn from this. Yeah. All right. Okay. Can I move on to the next question, guys? All right. The next question, which is the last question, is how do you feel about your group members when completing this assignment? What did they do that affect your experience in completing this assignment? So again, I'll read. How did you feel about your group members when completing this assignment? What did they do that affect your experience in completing this assignment? Okay, Brother Owen, would you like to start first? Unmute.
Okay, sorry. All right. Actually, I was looking into the last question before when you guys were speaking. Actually, so I didn't know what to say, but I saw this song and it contains a lyric, but I'm not sure how it can sort of connect to this. But it's if you can adapt it, it's like, have you heard of the song Perfect? All right.
Can you sing it to us?
We are still kids, but we're so in love, fighting against all odds. I know
you are crazy.
So it's crazy that it's like no matter we are as a family, we are so in love with each other that we are able to succeed in our own ways. So
Yeah.
I want to end by that.
Yes.
What about
Wow,
Anissa?
Penali.
How do you feel about working in this group? Do we like teach you something, or do we affect the way you look into life specifically, or doing assignments?
Okay, because I'm away from my home, from my family, I miss them so much. And when I have kind friends like you guys very close to me, I find peace. And now I care. Okay, so basically, while working collaboratively, the most important thing is, of course, we learn new things from our friends. We polish our skills from our friends, their knowledge. We improve ourselves just because our friend contributes something. So because I learned many things from you guys, and I can't even state it now because there are a list of it. So I'm just grateful that you guys teach me a lot. Indirectly and directly, especially in terms of when we sort of having, although some people look at pessimistic as one of the bad character, I think it's some sort of motivate other members as well. Although our friends keep on telling us that he is pessimistic, that it can be manipulated into something optimist because he can motivate us to move toward perfection, the word that he likes very much.
Thank you, Anissa. Oh my goodness. So, Brother Owen, you learned something, yeah? Yeah. All right. Okay. What about Brother Sammy? What is your what? How do you feel about your group members in completing this assignment? How do we affect you personally?
Yes, I would say all of you guys are very humble, down to earth.
Oh.
I mean, seriously, this is the truth. You always showing the face of not only a colleague but a friend and a family member to me. And all of you guys, I know all of you guys, as I said, you are down to earth, you are humble, you are not trying to show off anything, but you're actually trying to help as much as possible. And by doing so, you also try to make me feel, for instance, if I want to talk about myself, as if I am really contributing and I'm really helping. But in fact, I would say you are doing double of the work that I'm doing right now. And this is what truly family members, not only friends, do to each other. So to me, as Anissa said, I consider you guys as my family, and I'm truly blessed and loved. And just I'm speechless. Seriously, I mean, I'm honored to be a student in UTM, and I'm honored to be your friend.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you, Brother Sammy. For me personally, I think that I'm honored to work with you guys. And looking into this assignment, upon completion of this assignment, what I am hoping is that I'm very optimistic and I'm very hopeful that in the future assignment that I can do with you guys helping me and guiding me. And I think that we can succeed as a group. And I am happy that you are my friends, not only friends, group members, and also family, like Sammy said. So, family, so we must visit Anissa in Penang one day, yeah?
Yes.
I
True.
My
miss
teacher.
True.
Sure, sure, next week.
True.
All right. Before we end this session, as a conclusion, as I said previously, we have discussed before prior to this meeting that I would like to add a point that I want everybody to just give a short input, like what do you expect from this core subject or course? What do you look forward to learn from or improve yourself in which area as an educator from the point of view of an educator? All right, and after we've done that, and then we can conclude this section. Okay, so Brother Owen, would you like to go first? I don't know. It was like my eyes is like directly, so I always ask you first. All right,
Okay.
what would you like to achieve from this subject as a whole? Not only this assignment, but the whole course.
Okay. Actually, there are quite a number of elective subjects, right? So, despite having lots of, should I stop?
No, take 1 minute. We stop first because the azan is going on.
No, sorry. Carry on, brother.
It's okay. The azan is going on, so we can just
Yeah,
respect.
we can wait.
Just 1 minute, okay?
No, it's not the adhan. No, this is a recitement of the Holy Quran.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
because
All right.
my wife, she went in and she went out, and normally
Oh,
she
okay,
do
okay.
that. So
All right,
apologies
okay.
for this.
It's okay. All right, Brother Owen, you can continue.
All right. Okay. Basically, what was the question again?
The question is, the conclusion is, what would you like, what outcome are you expecting to get from this subject as a whole, especially from an educator point of view? Because all of us are English teachers, right? I would not like to use the word teacher, educator, or language practitioner. Okay, so what would you expect to
Right.
achieve again?
Actually, my background wasn't exactly TESOL. When I took my diploma, it was actually IT and networking. So I sort of entered that to actually learn a lot of things about IT. But I sort of went towards degree and masters in TESOL because of the love of the language. So I noticed just during the studying of the IT subjects, so that were quite interesting and some were quite tough. So why I took call instead of other electives, there are other electives as well, like seminars and discourse analysis and others, right? So having that background of IT, I wanted to learn some other softwares which I've never heard about. So in this class, when you mentioning about Google itself, the first of many, So it was interesting for me that we are able to apply some other ways besides using PowerPoint, besides using YouTube and just Google. So it is interesting. That's why I really I'm expecting more softwares and more links to enhance our education using other different methods.
Thank you, Brother Owen. Sister Anissa, what about you, sis?
Okay, basically as educators, my expectation would be, first of all, I would like to grab as many technological, pedagogical based knowledge in this particular subject so that I will be able to apply for my career and profession. And then one more thing is, of course, I'm looking forward to particularly make sure that I would love to use and apply all those skills which I acquired and or learned from this particular subject. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, Brother Sammy, what about you from your point of view? Unmute, brother.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. So I would say yes. Going through all these computer-assisted language learning would actually help us as professionals to build some sort of identity. This is the first thing, especially going because everything now is moving forward towards technological ways of teaching in task-based, learning from distance learning. So this would enrich and would help improve our identity construction in terms of teaching professionalism. Yeah.
Okay, for me, as what Anissa has said, is I would like to learn about the technological skills, not only skills, knowledge that is applicable to the future generation. Because in order to have a better future generation, we as teachers has to be competent in all the areas, not only knowledge but skills, especially technological skills. So that is one of the input, because like for example, we know what is WebEx, big blue button, when we came to UTM, right? And now we learn about Google, Flipgrid, Padlet, and so on and so forth. So it's something, how to say, it opened our eyes to a new horizon in the world of technological teaching. So that is what I would like to achieve, and not only that, to improve myself at the same time. All right, guys, any question, anything that you want me to add or ask or minus or delete or edit?
Definitely, we exceeded that 30 minutes.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you guys take time. Everyone are busy, especially we are working, we have families, some are married, okay? You have your responsibility, or some are away from family. I really applaud your strength, Anissa, because even I'm living in Batupat, going to JB is something like I'm living two huts at home, my parents. And you are so far, I really applaud you, and Brother Sammy also. Yeah, is very far. All right, even though Brother Owen is living in JB Sinai, it's quite far. It's like in the end of the other part. Okay. All right. So basically, this meeting, to conclude, we already done our mind mapping. We just need to do some other work like uploading and emailing and so on and so forth. And I would like to gently remind you guys, if you like to do your reflection, your first reflection for this assignment, you can do it maybe based on this meeting, based on the input that we got from here. So you can do it, the recorded and the written version, okay? All right. Nothing else, and then you guys can go and have your second lunch, maybe.
We shall call it a day then.
Pardon?
We shall call it a day.
Of course, definitely a long day. After this, I have class also, okay? All right, and take care, Anissa, Brother Sammy, and
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah.
And bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. See you another time.
Bye.
Call, yeah? Okay, yeah, love. My love is a little bit crooked, okay? Bye.
Bye.
See you guys.
Stop
Have a nice
recording.
day.